over too exaggerated or anything like that. Right, now we'll get on to actually fine-tuning the legs. So moving on with the feet. Right, so what we've got is when we're working with cycles, one of the handy things is the fact that we can work on one thing at a time. So we've already worked out our contact position here at frame 13 for this foot. It doesn't matter which one you go with, it's just this one's closer at the moment, so I've grabbed that. So like I said before, about 2 seconds after you have that slap of the foot going down, so at the moment I can here actually grab the things that I'm going to key and actually key translate key those things. And so now I can use the foot roll, as it were, to try to get this looking right. And the other thing I can do is, this isn't fully forward yet, so let's put it further forward, so then it slaps down.
And I'm saving the...
And then a couple of frames before the end, we can key the selection again. Actually, I might move them down one, frame 22. And then, because that's pretty much the last point before it starts to turn up into our roll. Might even depress the toe a little bit as well, maybe a little bit more of a foot roll, and we can move this back so it's more extended. Maybe a little bit more of a roll. Just because I don't want it to break, I can even move it a little bit, those things a little bit closer. Awesome. I'm not a huge fan of this reverse foot, but it kind of works. Might actually break that a little bit more. Anyway, so now we go into our passing. So yeah, now at this passing position, because it's leaving the ground, what I'm going to do is actually copy these keys here and paste them here, because things are a slightly bit broken. What we have is, while it's traveling along the ground, we want that linear, and when When it's in the air, we don't. So from frame 1 up, we don't want it to be linear. So we'll actually grab this X tangent here and actually make that a flat tangent, and we'll go maybe around frame 5, frame 3, and actually let's zoom in, make it a little bit more, maybe frame 4, make it a little bit more of a flat tangent. So key selected, so you can either do this by adding a key in, and for some reason I can't see it, there we go, in the Z rotation as well, key selected, pull that down, means that it kind of hangs back a bit, and in the Y rotation we can actually pull that down as well. Maybe not so much. Let's delete that one. But it stays behind a fair bit. And then as it swings through, it's probably a little bit too high. Keep it lower to the ground, because you don't actually leave the ground all that much. And maybe put a little bit of drag, on the foot roll, not the foot roll, the I don't want the foot brake, let's toe roll it, there we go. Key selected. Make that 0 and make that 0. It's probably a little bit too much. And then just before the contact point, make that toe flick up a little bit. And then on the slap, down to 0. Might be a little bit too unsubtle. Because it's the change in direction which really gets people. Awesome. Now, the other thing we can do is maybe a little bit of, if you notice, people don't generally walk with their feet pointing forward, so they usually have them splayed out a little bit, so we'll do that. So yeah, now we look up in the channel box and we've got translate X. I've been using, instead of rotate X, I've been using the foot roll and foot brake and toe roll in that X axis. But the X, the Y, and the Z all relate to each other when we're talking about this. So we're going to just grab all of them and key selected right now. possibly not there. Maybe we might just go on the I suppose it doesn't really matter. Key selected. Okay, so in our Y rotate, we're just going to slide him around a little bit. Where have my knee controllers gone? Anyway, enough about me. Let's just get this working. So what we have is basically a family, and what I'm going to quickly do is move that to 125. So we can save them out at these positions. So 1, 13, key selected, and 25. Oh, what am I doing? Key selected. And then at the passing position, we want a little bit of counterweight going on. So usually what happens is we just tuck him out a little bit. But at the moment, because this guy's center of gravity is so big, I might actually grab all of these and actually shift them down slightly. And potentially I'm going to fix up this roll as well. So we swing it out, and also we kind of straighten it up. So in our Y rotate, kind of straighten it up a little bit, and we might curve it in. So he takes off, flicks through. And potentially have a bit of a roll there as well. Copy, paste. So yeah, possibly a little bit like that. Awesome. And for some reason my window outliner no, that's not what I want. Just hold on one moment. Awesome. I found where the knee on and off switch is basically. So on your PV control, it says PV control, so pivot control or something like that, and you need to set that to on. If you've accidentally set it to off like I did, then you lose the knee. Awesome. And the reason I wanted to know that is because you can see as it passes through, there's going to be a little bit of a wobble going through, because this is always going to want to point at the knees. So there we go. So as he pushes through and lands, awesome. Cool, so I'm fairly happy with that leg, and you can see the other one is just kind of limping along there. So what I want to do is I want to copy all those weights, all those keyframes over to the other one. So to do that, what we do, well actually first off I'm going to hit cycle, bang and bang, so it keeps going. Now I can get rid of them just for now. What we do is go over to our, well, first up I want to get rid of all those keys. So you can either do that in the graph editor or in the dope sheet. It doesn't much matter. But now in the dope sheet I want to grab those keys. I want to go to frame 1, edit, copy, select the other one, highlight it, and now I can go edit, paste. And now you'll notice that it's doing the same action, so almost, oh, it's like jumping at the same time. Anyway, so what we then need to do is offset it by 12 frames. So we go from frame 1 to frame 13. So let's grab all of those keys. How about we just select the one. We can offset it to frame 13, which is there. So cool, now they're all pasted over, but if we look at it, the leg's all wonky. He's like Hunchback of Notre Dame kind of gimpy leg. And the way we can fix that is by doing what we were talking about before, this family of X, Y and Z rotation. So what we want to do is go to our graph editor, get X, get Y and get Z, select them all, and then go in and do simple maths equation, star for times, and then equals, so times everything by, all of these keyframes by, minus 1, And if you times anything by -1, minuses become positives and positives become negatives. So we hit that and instantly it's rotated everything. So now we've swapped it over. And now in our graph editor, well, not our graph editor, our time slider, we make that frame 24 frames. And he'll be walking. So once again, this is a very vanilla walk cycle with not a lot of character, but it's just another way of walking and breaking down to a minimum number of keys. Everything we've got is working on a cycle, and most of these cycles are only 3 keys. They're the extremes. So as we go through, they're just extremes, which means it's very easy to change, it's very easy to edit, and it's very clean and low on memory space. And if you wanted to, you can add some knee stuff in there. So on the contact point, we can go make it turn out maybe a little on frame 19, and then back and just bang. I'm making this unclean. Yeah, that's a bit better. Yeah, and then it's just a case of finessing. So if I wanted to finesse, I can see there's a little bit of a pop. If you look at the knee as it goes through, with a combination of that hang time and everything else, frame 13. I actually want this to pull back a little bit more. And you're getting a crazy wobble in there. So it's just figuring out what needs to happen to smooth out these wobbles. And that's occasionally because we're using this foot roll instead of just one translate Y or rotate Y. That's one of the reasons why we're getting this little kind of wobble in there, and that's where we have to then go in and figure out what keys we need to delete or change. Oop. But yeah, one walk cycle. So yeah, it's completely up to you guys how you choose to animate, whether you go pose to pose, straight ahead, or other things like this. This just gives you a little bit more of an insight into the mechanics of what's going on. And then, because there's no reason you can't go around changing the way things look. To make a more unique animation. To start giving things character. But awesome, guys. Thanks for listening. Thanks for watching, and I'll see you later. Bye.